Dr. DeMarco, chiropractor and owner of OcraMed Health. And what I'm going to do today is I want to share with you my favorite go-to stretches for my lower back. I do these quite frequently. In particular, I do these on days when my lower back just feels kind of stiff and sore, and I use these stretches before I go into train. You know, I might have had a little bit of stiffness or soreness because the day before we did some heavy deadlifts, we did some heavy squats. I wake up that morning, you know, your low back, and I'm sure you've experienced this too if you weight train, your low back just doesn't feel quite right, a little stiff, a little sore. So what are we going to do? Are we going to take the day off? No way. We're going to stretch out that lower back, loosen it up, and we're going to hit that gym again today. So these are my favorite. I'm going to go through them in the order that I actually like to use them. Of course, now if you're stretching, never stretch first thing in the morning, never stretch right out of bed. What I do is I always make sure I warm up. If I'll do some light cardio first. I'll do some dynamic warm-ups first. I get blood flowing into the tissue, into the muscle, and then I go through these stretches in the order that I'm going to show you today. So the first stretch that I like to start off with is just a nice overhead stretch to kind of just traction out the back, loosen things up. I'm going to clasp my fingers together. I'm going to stretch straight overhead, reaching up for the ceiling as far as I can. As I'm pushing my palms up to the ceiling, I think of pressing both heels into the ground. And I'm just going to stretch straight up for 30 seconds. And then what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to press off to my right side. And I'm going to think of pressing up towards the ceiling and off to the right. And as I'm pressing off to the right side, I think of pressing my left heel into the ground. And I have my legs about shoulder width apart. But I'm going to be pressing my left heel into the ground as I push off to the right side. I'm going to hold that for 30 seconds. Then I'm going to come back to the middle. I'm going to go off to the left, and now I'm going to think of pressing my right heel into the ground. So I'm actually pressing up and over, not just over to the side, up and over as I press the opposite heel. So 30 seconds straight up, 30 seconds to the right, 30 seconds to the left. That's how I'm going to start this off. All right, so following that standing stretch to warm up a little bit, this next stretch is going to be on the ground here. I'm going to think of keeping my heels nice. My heels are going to be on the ground. I'm going to have my hands kind of far away from my heels. And I'm going to, from this position, I'm going to think of stretching down and keeping flattening out my back and my shoulders and stretching my back in this position. I'm not going to let the heels come up. I'm going to hold this position for about 30 seconds. Then I'm going to bring my hands in a little tighter. Once again, heels stay on the ground. And I'm going to press this way and open up the shoulders. So I'm going to feel this through my calves, I'm going to feel this in my back, and I'm going to feel it in my shoulders and upper back. And I'm going to hold that for about 30 seconds. And then one final position where I'm actually going to bring my heels in towards my feet, and I'm just going to try to stretch straight down towards the ground in this position like that. And I'm going to hold for 30 seconds. From that position, I'm going to get down on the ground in a pike position, just like this. I like to do most of these stretches with my feet flexed forward so that I'm stretching my calves. If you do it with your toes pointed, you really don't get much of a stretch on your calves. So I'm going to keep my toes, my feet and my toes flexed. From this position here, I'm going to grab my toes. Now, one important thing, I'm not going to pull my head down towards my knees and round my back. What I try to do is keep my back flat, and I try to come forward in this position, my head neutral, and stretch forward in this position like that. And I'm going to hold that for 30 seconds. Like I said, I'm not going to pull my head down and round my back. I don't find that that's a good position. I'm going to keep my head neutral. I'm going to stretch forward in this position, and I'm going to hold that for 30 seconds. Next, from this position, I'm going to turn a little bit just to show you. I'm going to pull one heel in towards my groin. I'm going to square my shoulders to my opposite foot, and I'm going to stretch forward, keeping my shoulders square to this foot. I'm going to hold that for 30 seconds, at which point I'm going to switch, pull my opposite heel in towards the groin, squaring to the opposite. It's very important to square the shoulders to the straight foot, and I'm going to pull down and I'm going to stretch this way for 30 seconds. And then we're going to do both in a traditional kind of butterfly type stretch. We're going to pull both heels in, and I'll do two parts to this stretch. I'll pull my heels in tight. I'll grab my ankles. I'll use my elbows to push down on my knees to get a little abductor stretch, and I'll hold that for 30. Then I'll actually grab my feet and I'm going to pull myself forward. Now, just like the pike stretch, I'm not going to pull my head and shoulders down into a bad position. I just think of using my arms and pulling my torso forward. just like that. I keep my head neutral, my back flat, and I'm going to pull into this position. Great. Next, I like to get into a little extension. So I'm just going to get back into this position here, and I'm going to let my hips drop down to the floor, keeping my arms straight. Shoulders are going to be up, head's neutral, and I'm going to let my low back stretch in extension. I'm going to hold that for about 30 seconds. Then what I like to do is I'll actually turn. I'll try to look at my back foot. I'll hold that for 30. And then I'm going to turn the opposite way, looking at my other foot, and I'll hold that for 30. So I like to get some extension work in on my lower back. And then finally, I'll sit back on my heels, and I'm going to stretch forward in this position. I'm going to just keep creeping my fingers out as far as I can, and then try to drop my head and shoulders down towards the floor. And for one final stretch, and I'll hold that for 30 seconds. Great. Usually by the time I'm done running through all those stretches, my low back feels good and ready to go, and I'm all set to hit the gym after I perform those stretches. Okay, so give those stretches a try. You can use them every day, or you can just use them on the days when your low back feels a little stiff or a little bit sore. They're great stretches to do. Like I said, those are my basic go-to stretches for my lower back. You know, if you're looking for an exercise program that's going to be customized just for you, that's going to build lean muscle mass without the bulk, then you definitely want to visit my website, www.OcraMedHealth.com, where I will customize a program just for you consisting of calisthenic and gymnastic movements along with basic weight training. You know, these are the type of little things that we worry about at OcraMed Health to keep you safe and injury-free. We look at, you know, areas that need stretching, areas that need more mobility. You know, we try to target, you tell us what areas, you know, you're having injuries with or having problems with, and we work around it. This isn't the type of program where you just get access to my website and you're on your own. You work one-on-one with me. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe to my channel, OcraMed Health on YouTube. Any questions or comments about injuries or exercises, just leave a comment in the comments section below. And don't forget, OcraMed Health is here to keep you fit forever.